Welcome to the next episode of Language Talks. We have with us today a youngster who has pursued his master's in English literature from Modern College, Pune. He works as an assistant professor at Hislop College, Nagpur. He has worked as a copywriter and content creator for many reputed organizations. Join me in a conversation with him today. Hi, Hitesh.
Hello, ma'am. Nice to meet
Welcome.
you.
Same
Yeah,
here. Welcome to the show.
thank you, ma'am. It's an honor. I always follow your updates on Facebook, and then whenever I see you are interacting with some or the another language expert, that too, the language of the domain of language is really very vast. So you bring
Mhm.
upon experts from all those areas, from different languages as well. So I really appreciate the work, and it also adds to our own store of knowledge. So I'm really honored to be here uh, interacting with you on this show.
Thank you for the kind words, Hitesh, and you're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, I would like to start by asking you about a communication workshop you conducted for the engineering students.
So during this communication workshop,
Mhm.
I for the first time interacted with engineering students, and first of all, I was really unsure how can I contribute uh, into their uh, what can we say learning of language.
Okay.
And so once I interacted with them, I came to know that okay, what the actual things that bother these people. So as
Mhm.
engineering professionals, they do need a lot of exposure, especially when it comes to the spoken language aspect. But the
Okay.
curriculum that they had focused more on the theory. So one of my approaches while teaching
Mhm.
them was to expose them practically as much as possible through
Okay.
speaking, through taking various communication activities, and somehow just engaging them in the process. That
Okay.
really worked out very well, and I got a very good feedback on it. So overall,
Mhm.
I'm really very happy with contributing and in this learning experience. Actually, it was a
Mhm.
learning experience for me as well.
As well. Okay.
So yeah.
That is nice. So, what were the topics that you covered in this workshop?
So the topics were generally they had these topics of grammar, actually, like certain grammar topics which do come in use in day-to-day English speaking,
Mhm.
like modal auxiliaries. Then there are phrasal verbs. Then apart from this grammar, there is certain writing skills, like writing emails is one of the very important aspects of the job these days.
Okay.
So that,
Mhm.
and then more about a bit of corporate communication. Okay.
Mhm.
So the very important thing that I found in them was, like, the crucial thing was that
Mhm.
they really lacked in the confidence of speaking language. And so
Okay.
I made them speak on the stage in public as much as possible, and there was a lot of resistance at first, but then the smile on their faces, that they could eventually face their fears and come a bit out of their comfort zone. So
Okay.
that really helped.
Oh, that is good. Focusing on the speaking part, I think, is really necessary.
Yeah, that is the most important thing
Mhm.
which I encountered with dealing with students. Yes.
Okay. You were a student pre-COVID and you are a teacher post-COVID.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us the difference you can see?
So, ma'am, there are certain things that I do notice. Like
Mhm.
pre-COVID, though I was a student, but then I could see a lot of engagement from my peers as well in a classroom
Mhm.
activity and in the learning process.
Okay.
There was a lot of mm, what can we say? There was a desire that was there to learn. But
Hmm.
post COVID, while I'm teaching to students, I can see that there is a kind of, I think the curiosity has really
Mhm.
uh, not been at par, like what students should actually you know
Okay.
that students need to have.
Hmm.
Plus, as during the COVID times, they had an exposure to the internet a lot.
Okay.
So it has also affected their attention span in the classroom. Plus, they also
Uh-huh.
feel that they can find better material online. So
Okay.
the job of the teacher has actually become more challenging in the sense that the teacher has to be more updated and
Mm.
engaging so that the physical classroom experience or the offline classroom experience still
Mm.
makes more sense.
Mm.
And I think there is a difference that I can see that many of the time students don't turn up.
Okay.
Before COVID, there were a lot of students in a physical classroom, but nowadays
Mm.
we really need to act, try very hard to uh, make them, keep them
Huh.
engaged in the classroom
Okay.
activities and,
Mhm.
increase the strength in the classrooms.
That is a challenge for all the teachers, I think, for
Yes,
all
ma'am.
the subjects. So, taking you back in time, how did the love for English language begin?
Yeah. So, ma'am, when it comes to English, uh,
Mhm.
I was in a English medium school since childhood, and back then I did not had any such interest as as I have now, in the sense that I thought that it is okay. It was my common environment that I used to interact in the
Mm.
language. But
Okay.
once I was out in the world
Mm.
when I entered 11th, 12th standard, and then I was also into engineering for some part of my life. So I
Mhm.
found that there is a lot of a lot of lack in general English communication skills and in general knowledge of the language.
Okay.
And students, my peers back in engineering, they couldn't even write a single, uh, you know, um, a letter addressing to the
Mhm.
HOD, and they used to come to me. And then I realized, okay, that there is such a need around me for the language, and people need it like anything. So I don't know, somehow I just found myself better than others, and then I started working on my English as well. Because while in school I was really not that much confident, but then when I came into the outside world, I mustered a lot of confidence as well. Because I could see how what a difference there was between me and the general students and public out there. So
Okay.
that just pushed me towards the direction, and then I eventually felt that engineering is not my cup of tea. And then I was rediscovering myself. So in the process, I found that the English language is really a very what can we call a powerful tool, as well as something that I can really continue with to carry
Hmm.
on within my career.
Okay. You worked as a copywriter and content creator for corporates. So, how
Yeah.
was that experience?
So yes. So let's go to that now. So what happened was, initially I was more interested into pursuing psychology, but then when I came to Pune, there was an insistence from my dad to first pursue the studies of English literature.
Okay.
Then I thought ki, okay, let's do this
Hmm.
if he's saying so, because he was quite persuasive on that front.
Okay.
And during that process, when I was in Pune, I could see there was a big platform when it came to languages and everything. And
Hmm.
while pursuing my post graduation degree, I also felt a need to have some internship or some real world job experience on my
Okay.
part. And that is
Hmm.
how I, for the first time, connected with you in the process.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Alka ma'am really played a very great role in
Crucial
that,
role.
my HOD from Modern College. And I'm
Okay.
really indebted to you as well, because you pushed me towards, the language field. And when we interacted for the first time, so you were quite confident in me that I can be a good translator and I can be a good content creator, copywriter. So I just followed your uh, inst- uh, directions as well. And somehow I was into translation. At first I was a freelance translator, and I was into the language pair of English and Hindi in particular.
Right.
Then somehow I, just found about a WhatsApp group in which I could see a demand and a need for a content writer in English. So
Mm.
that is how my journey into content writing began. And in the very first job experience was really very challenging as well as demanding, because uh, writing takes a lot of what can we say, creative energies, and a lot of involvement, lot of
Okay.
focus as well.
Mm.
But then what I eventually discovered was that it was not really very promising on the financial front. But I did
Right.
enjoy the process.
Mm.
So I kept on researching and contributing as much as I can into the field of content creation.
Right.
And yeah, so that is how I came into
How
this.
was that experience?
Yeah,
I
so
think.
the experience was really, it was challenging at first. It was really overwhelming, but it really did teach me a lot of things about me as well, about
Mm.
myself. Like I could see where I could really contribute when it came to real life work. Uh, the real life experience of working in the corporate sector, and I could
Mm.
see my place there and how I can
Okay.
grow in it.
Mm.
So these were some of the things, and the process was very demanding, energetically draining as well. But then there was a lot of contentment and satisfaction as well whenever we were able to deliver something
Mm.
good and the clients were happy.
That is important.
Yeah.
So can you walk me through the your process of generating content ideas?
Yeah, so at first I was really clueless, and no one was there to really tell me how to go about it. There was no prior training as well. So I just found some of the things that intuitively I could do.
Mm.
I Whenever there was any topic that was to be written upon, so I used to open a lot of websites with similar content. I and just used to go through it. That was the research part mainly. Go through the the essence of the content that has to be written on my part, plus whatever is available on the the public domains in the internet. So after going through all that, then I had a sense of understanding, okay, what it is, what the field is about, and what am I expected to write. So by means of all that, integrating those things into uh, one, and expressing that in writing, so
Mm.
that was how I began with. And then I developed and capitalized more on this system of writing content. So I think this was my own way, because no one really told me how to, uh, you know,
Go
go
about it.
about it.
That is good. So what tools or resources do you find very useful while you are writing?
Yeah. So actually, I found that Grammarly is really very important. Grammarly is
Mm.
one tool that really checks your online grammar, like your overall grammar and whatever content that you have written. Then
Right.
there are these word files that could be modified online. Uh,
Okay.
there's some word to it. Now I've forgotten, as it was 2 or 3 years back. But that
Uh-huh.
online application of Microsoft Word, where we could, um, uh, share the document with the client, and then he will comment, and then we can take those suggestions and make those changes online itself. That really helped. Apart from
Okay.
that, there was this aspect of sometimes we also needed to use illustrations, and there I found Canva very important. So
Okay.
Canva was one such tool that really made my content very engaging.
Mm.
Plus, apart from that, sometimes the tasks or projects would be challenging, and we couldn't come up with anything that was original. So we had to rely a
Okay.
lot upon the content available on internet as well. So during
Okay.
those times, there is this online tool called Plaque Check, that is plagiarism checking, and
Okay.
modifying the text accordingly, and bringing out your own element, your own writing style along with it, is where that tool helped me. Plus, there was another the tool of online tool called word counter. So
Hmm.
this tool, what it actually does, it just counts the words, how many words your content is, because there are always certain word limits and restrictions in which we have to submit any project, like maybe
Okay.
500 words, 1,000 words. So
Hmm.
that also helped as a guide to
Hmm.
go through the content, the size of the content basically.
Size. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you stay updated with the latest trends and changes in your industry or niche?
Yeah. So as of now, I do still take projects on a freelance basis whenever
Mm-hmm.
I get the time pockets to fill in. And currently, I'm working with a marketing firm, which is
Okay.
which is you know mm, which is working on a specific product to generate a good marketing funnel on it. And for that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever content is required, so I'm researching on that, which can
Mm-hmm.
really help in improving the engagement of that product, making it more appealing to the
Okay.
public.
Hmm.
So I'm
Right.
working on that. So it consists of social media promotions, marketing, plus
Okay.
writing product descriptions, and a lot other manners in which we can engage the online crowd. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Nice. Can you describe a particularly challenging writing project that you have done?
Okay. So yeah, so this takes me back in time when I first joined this content industry. So
Mm-hmm.
we had this US client, DK Hardware. So it's an online hardware, uh, what can we call, online shopping platform for hardware
Okay.
tools based there.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of products, like in thousands and thousands, and our job
Okay.
was to create product descriptions for each and every of their items. Now,
Hmm.
many of the items, for example, L drops, door handles, door knobs, drawer knobs. So there were hundreds and hundreds of varieties,
Hmm.
and just slight changes. Sometimes there will be a change in material, sometimes there will be a change in color, and sometimes some change in aesthetics or design. So
Okay.
there were around hundreds of these, and we had to write a unique content all the time.
Oh my God.
So that was really demanding, and it took a lot of time. But then I figured out a way which
Hmm.
really garnered me appreciation as well. What I used to do,
Okay.
I used to find synonyms to whatever great adjectives that I could find,
Okay.
and I always used to use different synonyms for different products. So it also
Okay.
made it unique. Plus, some ideas here and there also help to build upon that content. So it was
Right.
a very challenging task, as well as the toughest one that I can think of in my content journey so far.
Interesting. What inspired you to pursue a career in teaching English?
So this was really an accident.
Hmm.
For some reason, for personal reasons, I had to return back to my native city, that is Nagpur,
Okay.
and I had to abruptly end my content career that I was working in.
Okay.
Then there was actually the COVID period for a very long time, and I was really very disturbed because of certain personal issues that were going on. And
Okay.
during that time, I was also into reading. I was basically pursuing my hobbies, and there was not really much to do. Now,
Hmm.
what happened was, once the things started getting regular again.
Hmm.
So there was this set exam which was held. No, but before that, there was another experience that I would like to share.
Uh-huh.
So initially, then, as I was a postgraduate in
Hmm.
English literature,
Hmm.
so I thought, like, what are the avenues that, apart from content, I can really
Hmm.
explore when it
Yeah.
comes to uh, language.
Right.
So there, I always had this inside me that I can be a good teacher, but then again, there was a lot of fear as well, because being a student and the transition from there to being a teacher was really difficult for me.
Hmm.
So uh, during those times, like somewhere around 2022 in the beginning, there
Hmm.
was an opportunity in one of the reputed colleges of engineering here, and
Okay.
there was an interview for the post of assistant professor for functional and communicative English.
Okay.
So I gave that interview. I cracked that interview. Then during the very few initial days of going to the college, I
Hmm.
found it really very overwhelming, because that thing
Okay.
of switching from a student mindset to a teaching mindset, that took a
Yeah.
lot of time on on my front. It was a sort of challenge that I couldn't take it head on.
Okay.
So I had to discontinue teaching, because
Uh-huh.
I was not able to do justice.
Okay.
Plus, I felt, uh, plus there was also a lot of fear when it came to teaching. So uh, I couldn't just express myself there, and I couldn't
Mhm.
face even the initial period. And I felt that it is better to quit from here. So my first teaching experience was a disaster, a blunder actually, because I couldn't even face my students. But then again, I
Okay.
got some more time where
Hmm.
I thought that, okay, let's focus on entrance exams.
Okay.
So I was preparing for a set exam, net
Okay.
exams as well.
Hmm.
And so this is actually a state eligibility test for assistant professor in government and granted colleges across the
Okay.
state.
Huh.
And so I was successful in cracking that exam.
Hmm.
And then again, there were a lot of opportunities in 2022 near August,
Okay.
uh, where there were again ample of interviews going on everywhere for the post of assistant professors. So I applied in my college, that is
Hmm.
Hislop, that used to be my college of graduation
I
in
see.
Nagpur. Yeah,
Right.
I applied here as well as I applied in other three or four colleges as well, like some reputed ones here.
Hmm.
And the very fascinating thing for me was that I was able to crack all the interviews, and it was up to me where I want to join. So then I thought that it is better to stick with my own familiar environment that was in Hislop, and I
Okay.
joined this college. So again, initially, when once a person fails to do something effectively, that psychologically bothers a lot. So again,
Hmm.
I gave the interview, and I uh, and I mentioned to ma'am straight away that I'm feared. I'm really fearful of teaching, but then I really want to step out of this comfort zone of mine, and really would like to engage with the
Hmm.
students out there. There were a lot of inhibitions at first, like what if the students laugh, what if this happened, what if that happened, and there were a lot of thoughts that always made it difficult. But then uh, as I joined the day of working,
Hmm.
so to my surprise, actually I was supposed to uh, teach a class of 20 students, but then as one of the teachers,
Huh.
they were unavailable for some reason, so I had to take the students from class as well. So now
Okay.
I had a student group of around 60 to 70 students
Oh, okay.
in a class, and I was facing all of them for the first time.
Oh,
so
okay.
so then I was inside my mind, I was prepared in the sense that it's a do or die. What will happen?
Hmm.
The worst that can happen is that they will laugh at me. What else can happen? Then I
Right.
tried to give my best, and it was a very fresh approach that I took to teaching. I just expressed myself, and then I really learned that, oh, this is really working out, and
Hmm.
I could engage the classroom for 1 hour, and that was a huge thing for me, because the attention span of students these days is actually quite less. So engaging
Hmm.
them for such a long time was a personal achievement, and this is
Hmm.
how I got into teaching. Now, when then I continued, then I discovered that there was a lot of potential inside me that I could explore, and always found new things that also, uh, helped me as a teacher learning new things.
Hmm.
Plus, it also added to the to the learning experience of my students. So
Hmm.
I do enjoy this process of teaching, and
Hmm.
now it is 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm teaching English. I'm not only teaching the grammatical aspect, writing
Mhm.
aspect. Apart from that, uh, I'm also into, spoken and communication English, as I mentioned,
Okay.
as an
Mhm.
experience in the engineering college, plus
Mhm.
also into teaching English literature. That is
Okay.
one of the challenging things for me as of now, but I'm
Mhm.
dealing with it.
Oh, great. What role do you see technology playing in the study and teaching of English literature or
Well,
English language writing, speaking?
yeah, so there is actually a huge role. In fact,
Okay.
technology has been also disruptive in some of the some of the areas, in the sense that
Mhm.
now students rely a lot upon online content, for
Okay.
even for studying for their syllabus. And obviously the syllabus needs a makeover altogether,
Okay.
because what we need to achieve in a classroom activity is to uh, engage students in a manner that makes them speak and interact with the language more.
Right.
But what
Yeah.
is happening is actually that there is a lot of theoretical stuff which has to
Mhm.
be taught, and the curriculum does not really encourages to take them out and uh, you know make them experiment with the language. So
Okay.
because of it, it becomes very easier for them to just go browse online, go to some YouTube videos, see that
Mhm.
content, and then just go through the face their exams, and they are also
Uh-huh.
successfully able to pass and score well. So
Okay.
there is this thing that technology has done. Okay, it has
Mhm.
made knowledge available very easily and very
Okay.
accessible as well.
Mhm.
So it has played a disruptive role in this manner. But then again,
Mhm.
an offline teaching experience is always unique and special, because it
Okay.
demands more awareness and attention on the part of the teacher as well as the students. He
Mhm.
can read the faces of his teacher. He cannot do that in an online classroom.
Mhm.
And even the students can get distracted very easily. Now,
Okay.
yeah, so this was one thing where I slightly digress, but then yes, another way where technology can help is actually one of the most crucial points that I find while
Mhm.
teaching is that uh, students can express themselves in writing many a times. They are good at grammar, but when it comes to speaking, they are really pathetic, or maybe they
Mhm.
lack confidence. They are good, but they
Mhm.
lack a lot of confidence of speaking to their peers, and even the environment is really not conducive enough that they will improve on that front easily.
Mhm.
They can improve
Mhm.
on that front easily. So there are
Okay.
many sites that I find. I found, like for example, there is a certain site in which you can interact with different people from different parts of the world who want to
Okay.
build upon their English language. So when
Okay.
you can have an interaction with them online, you're
Hmm.
actually talking to a stranger in language learning, especially in speaking. So this is
Okay.
something that where I see technology playing a good role. That it is connecting people online with common interests, common
Interests. Yeah.
goals,
Hmm.
and then they can improve upon them. So
Hmm.
plus there are many communities as well for the
Hmm.
interested ones, where
Okay.
they can uh, for example on Instagram, maybe they can join certain groups where there is a
Hmm.
discussion on a language front, plus contemporary literature like cinema, songs, and whatnot. So these kind of groups again help to build
Hmm.
upon the knowledge, their interest and curiosity in the subject.
Hmm.
So I see that in this manner, technology is really very helpful. Yes.
That's a nice take on technology.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Great. So, you are in the language field, in the English literature field. So, do you also plan to write a book or author a book?
Ma'am, that is like really a long way to go. I do feel
Hmm.
similarly, the way I had inhibition for teaching, I do have this inhibition for writing on that scale.
Hmm.
But tiny steps at a time may eventually help me even, unfold and uh, what can we say? Like achieve even uh, help me achieve those aspirations of mine as well. So I do remember by this that there was one of the competitions that was held back in time when you organized uh, what was it, a national level
Monologue.
competition in which a dramatic monologue was supposed to be submitted. And so
Right.
I explored my creative aspect of writing there, and
Mhm.
it got selected, and it could make into the first 25 entries that
Yes, right.
you were supposed to publish an ebook on.
Yes.
So that was actually one of the very important boosts, and uh, that really surged me, helped me surge my confidence actually, that I
Mhm.
can write well. Plus, I'm also into writing some poetry, but again,
Yeah.
I'm not really comfortable sharing it into public as of now, so I'm keeping it with myself.
Okay.
And I do see that. As of with time, I don't know what will unfold, what will manifest, but I am open in any direction that teaching and all these experiences take me.
I wish you all the best for that.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And thank you so much for sparing your time and coming on my show to talk about your experiences of teaching and writing.
Okay, ma'am. That was really a pleasure. It was amazing connecting with you and talking on all these things that are actually a part of my professional field.
Mhm.
So interacting and connecting with you and in the process also getting more expressive. Basically, I think
Oh, okay.
it really helps us as well. So
Yes.
I really uh, felt great to just have this conversation with you, and thank you so much for this
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you for joining, Hitesh.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really
Have a
enjoyed.
good day.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.